If you're a millennial, you want to start your business, you want to do something on the side, and you're new in the game, then this video is for you. Make sure you go through it. Look, this was a recent session I did with a lovely girl who contacted me wanting some actual feedback on her offer. Now, go through the session. I want you to listen. I'm giving her advice, and she keeps kind of like, batting it away. Now, what's important here is, look, I'm not saying she's not doing great. She's doing great, but you can't do everything at one time. When you are starting, I will say this till I'm blue in the face, all right? You've got to pick a niche, and you've got to go down on that niche. Now, I keep suggesting a set niche for her, and I don't think she's ready to commit to that niche. Now, there's a couple of things that are holding her back here. There's some internal struggles, that's for sure, and there's some external struggles around whether she's good enough, etc. Watch this session. It's a live session. All right, I'm cutting these sessions down so they're more concise. All right, taking on your feedback, and so just put this one on fast forward and notice how I take her through her stuff. Right, she's doing really well on YouTube. She's got her Instagram, and she's doing a lot of things. And I'm not saying she's not doing great, but let me tell you, if you're watching right now, you're young, pick one freaking niche, all right, and just stick down onto it and get some great paying customers in that one niche. You can't do everything at one time. You can't do every social media. It's never gonna work. Right, that being said, enjoy the live session, subscribe to the channel. Pleasure having you on board, all right? Click that subscribe button, don't play hard to get, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the other side.
My name is Ed JC Smith, founder of the Champion Academy, where we bring out the champion inside of you so you can live life on your terms.
All right, in today's session, we're with Corinne from Montreal. All right, and we're going to get some clarity. We've got some external conflicts with her niche right now. So just look through her Instagram and looking at her target market, and then we just had a little pre-chat. She's got some internal challenges, whether she deserves this right now. She's 22, she's fresh in the game, and she's 3 or 4 months. You're 4 months in, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. All right, let me share with you, and then we can just brain. I'm going to share my screen.
All right.
So you can see what I mean. And then you can tell me what you believe about it, etc. Right. So, for example, your digital, like your Instagram account, you're just focusing down onto aesthetics at the moment, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you want to do, like get aesthetics? Because like this is a great market.
Yeah, I know. So I wanted to be aesthetically pleasing, but also to attract the certain clientele that I'm going after. So I don't want it just to be aesthetically pleasing. I want it to be with a purpose.
So let me just clarify what I said, what I meant. You're focusing on aesthetics clinics, as in like.
Oh, okay. I meant like the aesthetic of my page. Yeah. So like plastic surgery, dentistry. So yeah, I recently niched out into that.
Okay, so that and this is what I think this is a very common challenge when you're starting your journey, who to focus on your specific client, right? So the external beliefs of the internal beliefs of am I good enough and all of this sort of stuff. The biggest problem comes from not picking a specific client, and the worry comes from I want to kind of I can do all of this, but I don't know who to aim it to. So here's my feedback for it. The aesthetics clinics are different to dentistry. Those are two different niches. Mm-hmm. And the reason that you want to start with whether you choose dentistry or whatever, based on what you feel comfortable with, if you've had it before, if you know the service, all of those things that we can go into. But you've got to start with one and not both of them at the same time. Based on if you just got one aesthetics clinic, a great result, then you can literally go over to the next aesthetics clinic and say, look, I've already worked with, this clinic. This is exactly what we did. This is the documenting. This is the process that I took them through. If you want to take a trial on my service, I'm normally going to be $3,000 a month, $2,000 a month. However, I've got an opening offer and I can take you on $1,000 a month or whatever your price points are. Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
At the moment, you've got conflict here with your download. So your like CBM digital doesn't, you know, if when you're starting off, you have to go super niche because you haven't got like if you say to me, Ed, I just want to do aesthetics clinics, then I would do the whole thing about aesthetics clinics. Like as in like, I am an aesthetics clinic expert at getting client. I help you grow your aesthetics clinic business, right? And so it should be like aesthetics clinics, you know, growth experts or something like that, right? So then it's like, so you're using all of this as like right, I help, they specifically do that. That's what the market needs today, is very specific niches. And I just want you to know, like, don't worry. Like, a lot of people worry about that because they think, oh, you know, I'm not going to be able to, you know, it's completely the opposite. You'll be able to get so much more business by being niche down, and it's so clear what this is at the moment. Within a short period of time, I don't know what it's about. You know, like I'm, you know, I'm not clearer on what this is. This is, and you can tell, and this is totally cool. But like, you're going through the thought process here. Scale your business is like,
no, it's just a bit confusing, I guess. But the thing is, what I'm doing now is like kind of scaling my brand to my personal page. So everything everything I'm doing on my page is kind of related to my business. So in the captions, I'll insert some like advice on business and how many posts to have. Should you post every day? So just for business owners. So it's been working for me because I've had people come to me. It's not niched. You know what I mean? So they're coming to me for my service, but they're not really like, you know, niched out to the aesthetics clinics. That's the problem. Now this is really old. This is over. This is over the 4 months I've had. So thank you.
but like this is great and all. It depends on what sort of, like, you know, like, it depends on what sort of business you truly want, right? If you want to scale an agency-based business, you know, you can make that really, really work. I don't know what sort of aspirations you want. This is a great personal branding and all this sort of stuff, which you can continue to do, but you can do them both at the same time, right? And so therefore you can niche down into this. This can be your personal brand or whatever. But making money online is such a generic, like you can't compete with other people online that have been there for too long. This, like, if you go in, like I run a program, Get More Clients, right? My ad spend on that is £1,000 a day, right? You can't compete with that, you know, because it's starting with like, you know, I can aim at coaches, consultants, experts, authors, because it's already there. But that's like a 5-year sort of kind of program in the, you know, in the process, right? When you're young, when I say young, I'm not talking about you get early into the game, you can niche down on something. Like, you know, with this, you know, you could get 5 aesthetics clinics on getting 2K a month, you know, as a 10, you know. I know sometimes people don't like to do the free process. I speak to a lot of young people in the game, and they're like straight want to try and charge. But if you got one aesthetic clinic, close there. One second. If you got one on, right? You built that up as a great case study, then you went to the next one and you can start scaling that out. That's an easy, you know, monthly retainer. What did you have? What did you have in mind?
I'm trying to niche it out now because I know if I'm an expert in the field, I can charge literally like 3 times more, just because I have that experience with exactly the same kinds of clinics or people that I'm working with, and people trust my work. Now the free trial, I understand, don't really agree with it, because I know that what I do is like the first 2 weeks I'll give it to them for free. So I'll be like, the first 2 weeks ad spends on me. Let me show you what I can do with the money. But then afterwards, it's just I like have people to pay, and if I offer them a free trial, I feel like they don't respect my work as much, because they feel like
how many ad campaigns have you run?
I've run around for the same client or different like clients.
Just in total, like how many years have you been running ads?
I don't run them myself. I have a contractor who does the ads. So
Okay, but how long have you? It all goes down to your results. When like I'll expect, if I want someone to help me out to run ads, I'll expect to pay between 4K, 3K, 4K, 5K a month. But I need to know that they've managed an expenditure of over $1 million a year, and so I know what sort of creative, what sort of kind of what sort of understanding they have of the market and how quick they can change things.
Yeah, I don't know. He's run around $1 million, like in the millions in ad spend. So that's one of the things that I look for when I hire like a contractor, that they're an expert in what they do. And I looked at.
Hold on one second. I'm not saying that you should cover the ad spend, but and again, it all goes. You know what you're saying in terms of external belief, right, and internal beliefs and stuff. When you know you can get someone a result, there's no internal block. That's what, like I'm just saying, like when you know that if they pay you 2K, you can guarantee they're making 10K or at least like 4K, then you've got no internal block.
Yeah.
And so it's a math equation. When, like, I know when I'm talking to someone that they know what they're doing, and I mean this in the nicest way. The amount of young people that pitch me for like just Instagram management, for example. This guy pitched me the other day, and he was like, 2K a month, and I said, how many clients have you got? And he goes, 2. And I'm like, show me their accounts, and he waved over them, and I was like, well, what are you doing? He's like, well, we're doing advanced retargeting, reposting strategies. I'm like, what does that mean? He was like, well, we're posting content. I was like, okay.
What's your added value? Yeah.
So I'm going to pay you 2K a month. You go to university, you've got 2 clients, and you can't really tell me anything different about what you're doing to the account. I'm not saying you're in this league. I'm just saying, to give you an example, I think it's very different if you turn up saying, like, here's a client I worked with, they paid this, and this is what they got. Here's another client, here's another client, here's another client, here's another client, here's another client. And how you negotiate that payment, and you are right, when they do pay and they have skin in the game, they're going to be better, 100%. It's how you get to that, just to be flexible to that. So for example, even for a big agency, we will still like offer like a free audit and say, look, this is how we're going to do it. And even if at a stage where I appreciate maybe you don't have a budget for this right now, it's going to cost 4K a month. However, for the first 2 months, all right, we're going to charge you 2K a month. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, we will give you 50% back. Or like if I was 22 today, I'd go in with a straight, like if I'd picking aesthetics clinic, I'd grab one clinic, I'd take my entire account and I'd turn it into an aesthetics clinic. Still use your personal brand, because this is amazing.
Thank you.
Can switch them, and like you got all that stuff going on, and you're getting great traction, etc. But I just turn it into another. I'd focus on just like a literally testimonial on my Instagram account. This is one of ours, for example, and all we help to do is literally, the whole thing is just, and this what you know this sort of stuff anyway, right?
Yeah.
Her account is literally killing it. We are #1 in Google in London, right? And all it is before, after, before, after, before, after, before, after, before, after, before, boom. It's just like, literally, it's just relentless. You know, and most, like, say for example, most aesthetic clinics, like we had one the other day. I'll see if I can find, I probably actually can't find her. I'm gonna bring up someone else, but to give you an example, we had another one who approached us, and she wanted us to do her clinic. And when you go down her clinic, she's got loads of random pictures of her kids, and I'm like, like, and then she's like dancing in, and she's talking about fashion, and I'm like, you can't, like, she's an aesthetics clinic talking about fashion. I'm like, no, like that's too distinct. It's too different.
Yeah.
And so, like, when you come to this and Google, all you see, she doesn't even have she doesn't even have a website. It's straight to booking. On average, we're doing 14 to 20 bookings a day, and you know, she just pumps her story, testimonials, some offers, some packages. We run minimal ads now because it's ranking, and it's killing it.
Wow.
Absolutely killing it. And so you have a client there, and that you could literally just replicate over the same process. And then once you know, aesthetics and dentistry are very similar. You know, that they are competitive industries, but once you get it right, I mean, that's only a year old as a business. You know, she's doing.
You run a marketing agency as well, or?
Yeah. So we have a done-for service. We do online programs. So we have like a coaching arm and a consultancy arm.
Okay, nice. Okay, didn't know that.
So like everything is outsourced. We used to have everything in London, and then we have like a range of different niches, and then we specifically will do a, you know, ours is slightly different because we have a larger ad budget, but it's really simple. It's just a needs assessment. This is just a one pager. They fill out their assessment based on that, and we tend to just pick people that we can work with, and that's it. Probably get, I don't know, 10 inquiries a week. We turn away at least 6 because.
Excuse me?
You're welcome.
No, that's awesome. So that's also, I feel like it goes into your personal brand as well. But also results, right? So you gotta deliver in order to feel A, worthy of the results, and B, just have that reputation. So I understand. I like that idea, like, because what I do is I offer a 3-month minimum term. So what I can do is for that first 3 months, I'll tell them, like, we're going to get you a 2x ROI, whatnot, 50% back, or I'll charge them X amount. And then I'll tell them after that month, the 3-month period, I'm going to charge this much, or like maybe raise the prices a bit. But yeah, I have to refine my page and how it looks as well to do that. Now I have a question for the funnel. What do you think about it? Because that was really like, I did it in one day. I don't really know, you know, if it's like attractive as an offer. I have like 40 emails that I've collected thus far.
From this one specifically for this
funnel, but not through just that link. So I have it on my personal page, and then also I think I ran one ad about it, and sort of collected thus far.
It's just too generic.
Yeah.
It's not calling out, like, unless you're running ads to it. For example, the first business I ever started was just specifically, I had a bad back. I went through like a physiotherapy process. They said I wouldn't walk, and so therefore I did like some chiropractor, some this goniometric stretching and all of this. And then then I took the same program that I took and helped other people do that, and I charged for that. But it was just people. So I went to local gyms looking for putting up adverts of, if you want core stability back. That was it. So it's like, when you start, like, this is like too much. This is too much in the general business opportunity space. All right. The opportunity space is like generally anyone that wants to make money. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And you're competing with a lot of people. That's you, yeah?
Yeah.
Is this a different one?
Yeah, so that's a link to a bunch of stuff.
Lady Leader podcast, free ebook, start your marketing agency
Yeah.
No, but it's look, this is the biggest problem. Look, and you're doing amazing, right? Because you're taking it all out and you're putting there and you're an action taking it. And I'm not saying it's not great, and it looks really good. You look good, and you'll get there. There's no doubt about that. It's just the speed in which you want to get there, right? So at the moment, it's just missing. It's just missing, like, who are you really targeting? That's all.
I think that's my problem. Who's my audience? Like, who do I want to work with? Like,
and that's
when it comes
really
to my podcast, and I feel like even my affiliate marketing, I feel like I want a specific kind of audience for that. And then the people that I work with for my marketing agency can be completely different. But the thing is, the people that are coming to me for my business are coming through my podcast. So, like, not just podcast, but like through my channel and like what they see on Instagram about me. So they're just like, okay, what do you do? This is what's happening in my business. Can you help? Like, how can we work together? So it's kind of, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you're doing great, and it's like, when you change some of these things, they make a big difference. For example, like, they're asking, like, they're interested, you've hooked them, but they're not really sure how you can help them, but they're having this conversation, and then you're going like, yeah, let me help you do this. And these are why these conversations are quite, like, difficult to manage, because neither you nor them are really clear about where you can work together. If, for example, you said, I'm just going to focus on growing someone's YouTube, then every single person that calls you is like, can you help me grow my YouTube? For example, just in the meantime, this company's hit me up saying, we can grow your marketing lead generation. And I always have these conversations because I end up reverse selling them, because they're going with this generic structure. And I'm like, you need a better structure. So then I sell them my online program, Clients and Automation, in less than 29 days. And that allows them to pick the niche, define the thing that they're giving away, go through that process. In less than a month, you're really clear on what the business model is. Like, this podcast, you could be like, I help people grow podcasts, right? I help build people, I help you build this is what the world needs today. In the nicest way, they need legit people, right? If you built an agency around, aesthetics clients, and you had 20 clients, you can legitimately say, I can help you build an agency. Do you know what I mean? Because you've done it yourself. I would question how well equipped you are to help someone build an agency when you don't have an agency yet.
Yeah.
Is that cool? It's okay.
Yeah. So it's just that's basically tips on how to start it. So not really to,
okay, cool.
Then
So,
you can do it whatever you want, but you do your research. Let's say, how do you find the right person? Should you have a niche? Shouldn't you have a niche? Just like the things that
that you should do.
I should do. I'm telling people to do. Be better than me. No, I'm just kidding.
I totally respect that. And
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong
no,
with
listen,
that.
give me the constructive criticism. Don't like sugarcoat.
No. I'm not sugarcoating, because you're being authentic and you're justifying. You're not saying, and you are actioning the process. So you will learn through that at the same time. Like, sometimes, like, by teaching just what you know, you only have to be a couple of steps ahead of that next person. You don't need to be the you know, a 700 years expert of doing this in order for to teach someone else. And so I like that justification. I was just running out some ideas on it. I mean, I look at you and I think you'd be just great for like agency work, building the aesthetics. If you know about aesthetics and stuff like that, or you've had it, or your mom's had it, or your friends have had it, or whatever, you know, or you're into skiing and stuff, and just try it on one area for a bit, build that up, and then you can build all these other things to support. Like podcast is amazing, right? And it's great to practice your voice. Like unless you have like something to hook people onto. For example, I have a live event in January, right? And so
that's actually what I'm doing. Yeah.
So I have
you do. Okay, I thought you asked me. You told me.
So you're coming. Okay. So I have a live event in January, right? And that's built around like becoming an expert and stuff. And so I distilled like these 6 key areas of which you need to be an expert. And so I've got my other book, so I just switched it to have a free download. They go into a group, right? So they're downloading a PDF from a ManyChat into a group. I'm managing that group, and then I'm going to sell tickets to the event from the group.
Nice. Right? Okay.
So just a simple process, and then I release. I only sell clients and automation once a year from a live event, and that's the only time I do it.
Nice.
And so therefore it's just like structuring what you're doing. Then because Money Mindfulness Daily, which is a habit book, is in the business ops space, you know, I call it, my podcast is How to Start Your Own Business. And so I can just talk about kind of like open, like broad concepts which are easy to talk about all the time. And then as people like come to something, maybe they, you know, buy a book. As they buy a book, they've got upsells to come on online programs, and they get more niche down. But my core niche is helping clients specifically that are coaches, authors, experts, how to build a coaching based business, because that's all the businesses I have are consultancy based businesses pretty much. And whether that's online, offline, and product-based, information-based products.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, so the thing that I'm doing in my podcast, I'm traveling to North Carolina to interview. Don't check out my YouTube in front of me. I am pet like when people tell me I watch your YouTube, I'm like, don't tell me that. I don't want to know. So as you can see here, I interview successful women. Are you listening?
Yes.
Go listen to it. Listen to it after the call. Maybe I'll get used to it eventually, but I'm kind of...
It was because you expect your voice to sound different. You say it, but the more you listen to it, the easier it becomes. So you interview these people. This is good. Yeah. Great thumbnails.
Thank you. Yeah, so I interview people.
Okay.
Yeah, and just like some advice for whatever I do, and just advice and like on entrepreneurship, how to handle certain emotions, and then also like I get personal, like I talk about things I'm going through, and then I also talk about how I overcome them.
This is great. Like as I said, like you're doing great.
Yeah, so it's just certain things.
It's like just fine tuning it as you go along. Again, depending.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like figuring it out, and I think that's what a lot of people worry about when they're getting into business. They're just like, I have to have it all figured out, like, you know, to the T. And I'm just here like, I know nothing about marketing, and I just decided, let me just figure it out. Let me run ads for myself. Let me like get a few clients that I can work with. Like when I first started, like the first 2 months, I would charge 500, like whatever you told me. I charge like 500 a month. And I told the lady, I'm like, you know, I can do it. So let me try. And, you know, so I did that. And eventually I told her, like, that's not the price I want to charge, but eventually I will charge you more. So just kind of figuring it out, like, I started my YouTube channel literally as like, let me put up a camera and like record how I wake up at 5 a.m. every day and just give some tips on why, like how I get to do that. So yeah, like random stuff, but I'm, like you said, I'm fine tuning it as I'm going along.
Yeah, it's all good, and that's it's all part of the process. And I think, you know, I speak to a lot of younger entrepreneurs today, and I think it's difficult. It can be difficult for you guys because you know, like you're watching a lot of like Gary Vaynerchuk or like Grant Cardone, and I'm not saying those people are whatever you're watching it aren't great, but they're like really far along on the journey. And I think sometimes people forget that, and it's like you can't almost relate to someone that's doing 300 million in their business, because they have this just genetic, they can literally spend so much on ads to get that message out. Their ROIs are completely different. You know, Gary's advice, I'm not saying he doesn't have great stuff to say, but you can't follow that business model, but because depending on how much cash you have and how much you need, right? If you need something to make it work right now, if you said to me, Ed, look, I need to make 10K this month, that's a completely different. You know, I was just on a call with a girl from Poland, right? She needs to make money, like, so that she's stable. You know, she's just quit her job. She needs to make that fast. So what's the quickest way? You know, and it's like, therefore it has to go to, rather than creating all of this content, like helping someone else's business grow, like, which you've got an idea, you can make the aesthetics look pretty and stuff. There's a load of people out there that don't know half as much as you do already, just because of your youth and your ability to see the market as it is. You know, like there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of aesthetics clinics in the UK that look horrendous, and we're never going to attract a client online. You can charge them a monthly fee, build it up, and then retainer that, get someone else to deliver it, and just keep on building on top of that. That is a super profitable business model, super profitable, and a low overhead model.
Yeah. What do you think about, because I'm also doing events now, so since I'm doing marketing.
Of course you are.
Yes.
There's really nothing else you're not doing.
Yeah, I'm doing an event for myself, my brand, and my friend too. We just want to like merge it and just invite some people, have some people on the panel, and like talk about business stuff. And not even to make profit. Like we're not going to make profit from it. We're just literally going to invest everything we make in the event. But I'm also getting people contacting me to do their own events. So they're like, can you help me fill out seats? I do photo shoots. Like, I don't know. So do you recommend that I like continue doing like one-time things, or one-time photo shoot / another event?
I think do you need money right now, or you're okay?
I'm okay, but more money is good.
How much do you live at home, or are you with your parents?
I'm with my family, yeah.
Okay, so we're not on the breadline here.
No.
That's good. So you have some stability so that you can try some things.
Good and bad, because I feel like I'm too comfortable, you know, at some stages. Like I don't need to go and make that extra money. It's just like I've gotten advice like the best thing your parents can do for you is literally kick you out, because I wasn't doing well in the beginning, and I started
we could ask them to kick you out if you want.
Yeah. Can you? Actually, I'll bring you up right now.
Let's get mum on and kick you out. Look, yeah, of course, that's it's the you know, it depends on how you want to view that. Like, yes, you can also say like it's I'm not pushing because I'm safe, but you can also say I can push more because I'm safe. It really depends on what you want to focus on there. You know, you can make it more simplistically, like just put a deadline in place where you like, I'm going to do this, all right, and then just keep pushing on that, and then notice, like, if you can pick up what I'm trying to lay down for you, if you needed to make 10K, then you've got a vehicle straight away, the aesthetics, focusing on that, turning it in and going for that. Because I promise you, that is a business model that works. It's one of the best models for people like dentistry, chiropractor, these sorts of service, like microblading, veneers, all of that stuff. People purchase it, and so therefore they, like, a lot of these clinics, especially in London, they know how much a customer is worth to them. And if you're dealing with a client like that, rather than, say, for example, just like going down the high street and taking, for example, a card shop, like that sells cards. We've got, so I'm in central London right now, and if you walk down, there's loads of these like stores. For example, like there's a frame store, there's an old bookstore, and you're like, these stores are never going to generate enough to be able to actually pay for an advertising spend. And they're like these traditional, I have no idea how they stay even paying the rent and rates for these places. There's a lot of if you ever come to London, that's the sort of places that it's full of, these sorts of stores that just they probably just pay their overheads and a little bit more. Whereas I'm just trying to say, like, these chiropractic clinics, they just churn out people 24/7. I mean, we've got a couple on our books, and their appointments are 10 or 12 minutes, bang, and they're literally knocking them out all day.
Nice.
So then I'd say at this stage, personally, I would still niche down. I wouldn't be worried about it at all. I think I'd keep your page like this, like doing all your stuff, doing your interviews, just talking about your journey. Still do your podcast because you've set it up and all that stuff, and then just notice where your level of overwhelm is. Because if you're too overwhelmed, or like you're trying to do too much content, right, it's like focusing on one platform at one time is what I always recommend. Like, because today more than ever, I'm not saying Instagram, I'm not saying podcasting, I'm not saying blogging doesn't work. But if I wanted to scale to 100,000 in less than 29 days, I'd be focused on Facebook ads. If you're a consultant with a clear offer of what that is.
Yeah, Facebook ads, and then directing them to my Instagram. You mean?
Down into some sort of lead cat. Depending on what sort of business you wanted to build. If it was a coaching business or a consultancy business, I still, that's where I would go. Yeah.
I'm thinking more towards consultancy, but also because I feel like my Lady Leaders podcast, I feel like that's so authentic to what I want. Like, I started that 2 months ago, and I'm already getting so many people like contacting me and telling me like, oh my gosh, like we love what you do, blah, blah, blah. We support it. And it's not really just my podcast. It's also like related to my YouTube. So whatever I post on YouTube, I'll just strip the audio and put it on my podcast.
Cool.
So people like that, and a lot of people are into it. And I'm like interviewing, literally going to North Carolina at the end of the month to interview Cindy Eckert, the founder of the $1 billion pharmaceutical company. Interviewing next week some magazine owner. So it's really authentic to what I like believe in. So I feel like it's working for me. It's like in line with that. And I'm just trying to see how I can link it to my marketing agency, because I feel like marketing is cool. I just don't personally find there's like a lot of money in it unless I do like consulting eventually, or I try to scale it, or I try to sell something on a recurring basis rather than just like wait for a retainer like on a monthly basis as well. Like if you sell a course, it's good because you're just like scaling your business. It's like a service that you're offering. Or for example, like the ClickFunnels model where you have people subscribing to whatever you have. Like that's something that I find is sustainable and something that I'm looking to do later on. Marketing is cool. It's not my passion, you know, in life. So, but I feel like the podcast is something that is really in line with what I love to do. So it's just like the question of whatever you feel you're most authentic in. I feel like that's what brings you most success. So I'm trying to see how I can scale that, you know.
Yeah.
And also what I'm doing, I'm not making money off YouTube. I'm not monetizing it, but I'm offering value to people. I feel like that's more important than just trying to make money off of them, you know. Like in the last interview, we covered so much, so many advices and like tips on how to, she's like, she worked on Wall Street, whatever. So I offer those women and people who watch my channel so much advice on how they can manage their finances and like, should you invest in ETFs? Should you pay off your debt first? Should you save? You know, so just offering value, and I feel like that's what's bringing me most right now. You know.
Yeah, then go with that. Then just keep on building on top of it, and again, just to notice that the question of niching down becomes more comfortable as you talk more about it. I think that's the key. As you put more videos out, but just want you to notice that people stop doing these things at a high rate because they are not clear on what the niche is. Right? So people like Gary Vaynerchuk, 5 years on wine.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just wine. Nothing else. Just wine. Grant Cardone, 15 years on housing, just housing, nothing else.
Yeah.
Just so you, again, like it's so much easier in your head, like because you don't have to think about it. If you said just interviews for a year, that makes sense. Like I'm just going on a journey, and then every time I'm just conscious. I see so many people, they do a lot, and it's because it's all over the place. But then like they don't post on their Instagram enough, they don't post on YouTube enough, and then they're like, shit, nothing's happening. If you just focused on one thing, YouTube, for example, and you link your podcast or whatever, and you can do them both, then just focus on that. Or, you know, like you must have seen your friends, they do a little bit and then they stop. Yeah, and they get excited and then they don't. You know, I've been in business like 23 years, you know, and it's like, people always say, well, how do you stay consistent? It's just like, because it's just ingrained now.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I've had so many different niches. You're speaking to me now. I've had a depression niche, a relationship niche, a consultancy niche, an HR niche, a phone selling niche, and they all build on top of each other. But I've always had a niche.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's true.
But I think you're doing great. Just keep going.
Thank you.
Watch this again and see what you can get back from it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give you a summary of my thoughts. I think, you know, like if you can condense, maybe like, let me leave you with this tasking, like what do you really love right now, and like what value do you like, what you like really passionate about. Like the first thing I got really passionate about was just the gym, for example, and you know, that's all I could talk about, the gym, right? Today I'm at a stage where I'm really super passionate about scaling Facebook ads. Like I rate myself at being able to really reduce lead cost, increase your phone booking cost, so that you can save, you know, we can scale those campaigns. You know, I'm probably like one of the best in the education world in the UK to have the lowest cost to fill an event, for example, based on I'm in these masterminds where I know who the other competitors are. And so it's like, what are you really passionate about right now? What if you had to kind of knock a couple of things off, because you've got like digital agency, podcast, YouTube, this aesthetics thing. I mean, just pick one or pick two and link them together and just go with that, and then let me know how you're getting on.
Okay. So pick one. What do you mean by that? Like to focus on?
Yeah,
Or
if I was you, like, I mean, you can make, like if you build your channel and you're getting really good views on it with very little amounts of videos, look, you know, it helps that you don't look like shit in the nicest way. You know, you look good. So, you know, you're going to get a lot of traction on it. And if you're just, you know, if you just focus, like, YouTube is an amazing asset, but it takes fucking long, right? And you're doing well. It, like, YouTube is a long game, right?
yeah,
If
it's
you,
a
if you,
bitch. No, I'm kidding, but like, it's
yeah.
like I have to monetize. I have to have 4,000 hours of views. You know, so it's like I'm getting there.
But
I have like
it's
500
all
hours.
good. Like, again, like it's you know, I'm sure you know these Logan Pauls and etc. You know
Yeah.
them, right? But
Yeah.
but they focused on one platform, you know, and then they used, you know, they went from Vine, pumped on Vine, and they
Yeah.
had a specific, and people just don't understand how they build that following, but it's building on top. They focused on Vine, and they tried doing YouTube, and it didn't work for
Yeah.
a long time. He had like 7 different channels. He was going Vine, 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 Vine. He started getting, you know, traction on a specific sort of video, which is value for their audience, however you want to call it. Then moved on to Facebook when Facebook was really getting good viral sharing, and then onto YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that, I'm saying like yours is good.
Yeah, I'm just doing YouTube and Instagram at the moment. I don't care about my website.
Okay.
Facebook is all right. I would probably use it for for like ads, but I don't really post much there.
So
Maybe
draw a circle on a
yeah,
page, and
yeah,
then just like put some sections in it so there's not loads of sections of what you're going to focus through, and then just send us a picture on Instagram of what it is.
yeah,
You're like what you're focused on.
yeah.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're what? You're coming to the UK?
Maybe soon. Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
let you
sell you
know.
up on an offer. You know that,
There's
right?
like, sorry.
I'm gonna sell you up on an offer. It won't be right now. It'll be coming though.
Okay, let me know.
I'll be excited about it.
Yeah, me too. Thanks so
Okay,
much. You've been a
you're
great
welcome,
help.
welcome. Great stuff. All right, let me know how you go. Keep going and never give up on those dreams. Keep going. You're doing really well.
Yeah, it's not an option. Never give up.
All
All right.
right. See you
Thank
soon. All the best.
you. Bye.